I think you got to understand human trafficking first. There's 3 phases. There's a recruitment phase, and you need to prove all 3 to say this is trafficking, because it can be just abuse.
So I will say you guys did help me a lot. Like I learned so much from this experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like I'm gonna take your advice mentally because it took a toll on me a lot.
Yeah. Their aim is to make money by exploiting human beings.
Oh.
That's what they do. They want to make money out of people, and they're using vulnerabilities. And I cannot emphasize this more, because we've seen these traffickers actually exploiting young girls.
So they would bring them in, and then they'll go to townships, give them a trolley, and then they will walk the whole day selling like vegetables. Then I will ask myself, why would this guy walk such a long distance every day without fail, same street?
Hi guys, welcome back to Podcast Network. And we are good to see ya.
Shisa.
So guys, today I'm back. I'm your host, Pretty Lona, aka Busi.
I'm your host, Venus, the baddest planner on the blog.
Period. And guys, today we have a very special guest, Lucy, Ghost Lady. Ghost Lady.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
As you can see, guys, we are not here alone. We got the founder and CEO of Brave to Love Foundation. Joining us today is Mrs. Emma van der Walt and Donaldson, coordinator of the Brave to Love Foundation as well. So, how are you feeling? How
Nervous,
are you?
excited, all in one important topic, but it's fantastic being here. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm excited.
And Dee's also here.
All right.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys were involved as well. You guys were on the news talking about, spreading awareness of the Russian program, right? Knowing that I was a part of it, I honestly felt that, it's only fair to also help other people, other creators out there to not get trapped the way we also got trapped as influencers, and just also spread awareness of what's happening when it comes to human trafficking. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into today's conversations and know more about everything.
Yeah. I feel like it's also safer to just get insights really about human trafficking. I know some people are not really aware of, the processes, the measures, and to what degree it can get, So this is a really good opportunity. I'm so honored to have you here, Mrs. Emma, and as well as Donaldson. Really excited to dive into it. And one thing I was really curious about would be, when it comes to this particular program, what form of resilience has been nurtured through your foundation? How did it instill growth in young individuals? And maybe if you can raise awareness on how to navigate that as well.
Yeah, so this sort of was a shock, I think, for everyone in South Africa. But what I'm grateful for is that the awareness is getting out there, because we've been working with a lot of cases sort of in the back of helping South Africans that are going abroad and being trafficked, and I think the public don't always know what's the situation, what's going up. So we're grateful, because the first thing I think when it comes to fighting, so I always ask, what is our weapons in fighting human trafficking? Because we need to have a few weapons, because we're fighting like some criminals out there. And the one is prevention work. That's the first thing. How do we prevent someone from getting into the situation? So that's why I'm so grateful that we can shine some light on the topic today.
Super.
I have a question, right? I want to know, like, when you speak with so much passion. It seems like you really love it, right? You love what you do. So I want to know, like, what inspired you to like start the organization?
Yeah, so this is a long story, and it's very difficult. A lot of people ask me, because I don't like talking always about myself, because I work with so many other amazing people, but it's about 10, 11 years ago, I was the crazy lady that started trying to find out where are the brothels and the sex trade. And I just had a passion for the women that were working in prostitution. I wanted to know their stories. Why is this girl on the streets selling sex?
Oh, yes.
And what is she doing on the streets? And I just started walking just because of passion and love. And I am a complete empath, so that's part of it. And I started hearing the stories of the ladies and the girls on the streets. And it was about 1 month into it. I wanted to find out, is there any brothels close to my house? And then I discovered a brothel just a block from my house. And the girls, there were ladies in there. And we couldn't get into the property. The first time we got in, the second time the pimp refused us access into the property. And that was our first case of human trafficking. I mean, it's a big word. We don't know what human trafficking, what is that?
Yeah.
And we think it's so far. No, it's in the movies. It's a girl that's kidnapped and traveled to Eastern European country or wherever. But that was the first case where the pimp was actually locking up the girls, the ladies. They couldn't get out. The one was pregnant. So it was a horrible situation. And I tell a lot of these stories in my book that's called She Is Safe, and how we started. But that's sort of how it started. And then we started working with sex trafficking first. What does it look like? How does a girl end up in a brothel? And how does she become a slave by being raped 10 times a day in a brothel? So that was the reality. And most of our cases were South African women, sometimes underage girls that were trapped in these slave situations. So we just started getting involved and rescuing, and that's how it started. And I'm still passionate and going forth, and I've got amazing team members joining. But yeah, it's been a crazy road.
And what made you join the organization?
Okay, for me to join Brave to Love, I think like one of the major reason was through my experience in Ethiopia, where I got exposed to a lot of young girls in the sex trade on the street, and the numbers were very overwhelming, and I couldn't do anything about it at that point. And I think I did engage with Emma, trying to see what can be done that side. But coming back, I think Brave to Love was a platform for me to be able to make a difference in the lives of those young girls. And then obviously get exposed to more human trafficking cases, not just sex exploitation, but as we've seen with the Russian scams and the Yemen scams. So for me, it's a platform to actually make a difference in the lives of other people. Yeah.
That's good. How long has the organization been operating for?
Yeah, so we started in 2014 doing outreaches. Yeah, so and then, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't long after that when we discovered, okay, this is the sex trade. Some girls are there working for themselves, but these girls are trafficked. So yeah, but we've so it's been 11 years for me personally working with this, but we officially registered in 2018, where I resigned my job and I said, I cannot look away anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to take the sort of the leap of faith, saying, no money, I'll do it. I'll just, whatever I can, get people to donate, and so that we can go save lives. And it's been an amazing journey, and I'm very grateful and humbled to be here.
Since the journey is to save lives, how is that looking like right now when it comes to making changes with what's going on? Has there been any form of path of positivity, path of grace as of yet? Or how many people are already headed this side from, the foundation itself?
Yeah, so I think our statistics, you must be accurate more on our stats, but I think we're around 230 247, you see if Donaldson knows, victims that we've been involved in supporting law enforcement or been involved with the rescue and extraction of these victims, and also then looking after aftercare. So we don't just leave the victims, we try to support if they need more support. So it's been a long journey of and I mean that's quite a lot of people, because you're looking at individuals being trafficked, and that's all trafficked within South Africa. We currently, and mostly, well, not only South Africans, we've got different people coming from overseas countries that are being trafficked in South Africa. So the problem is large. We are concerned with all the South Africans looking for business, for job opportunities abroad. So it's changing quite a bit currently, but there's a lot of trafficking happening within South Africa and different forms. So we obviously know sex trafficking, but we're looking at labor trafficking and trafficking into criminality, as we've seen. And then there's other forms like, in the adoption system, the minors, forced marriages, things like that. But yeah, so there's definitely a large problem with human trafficking. And it's not only South Africa. I want us to know that although South Africa is a problem, we're looking at a global problem that is international. But as South Africans, we do have a responsibility to do as much as we possibly can to fight it and to also give the support to those that become victim.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
it's
guys.
okay.
No, you can go for it.
I just wanted to ask you guys, obviously this affects you guys mentally. How do you guys keep going when all of this...
Yeah, mental health. How do you keep going? I'm the boss. If you check if my team's okay. You can answer first.
Well, I guess in most times I try not to think too much about it. If I'm at home and then I'm thinking about things that have nothing to do with human trafficking. So I try not to be overwhelmed with the details all the time. But then I guess if you are passionate and see the difference that you make, it doesn't really become that much of a problem. So I don't usually go too much into the details, what happened. I think that's Samala's job. With
our social workers'
yes,
job.
our social work. Yes, but I try not to...
So let me give you the mental health advice, and that might help people for their own mental health as well, because we deal with difficult things. I have been affected by the trauma of what I see on the streets. PTSD, those type of things that we as a team, because we've got some like militaries specialists on the team, and I, including with the military guys, are on the streets. So we come into the brothel and we see the child there, or we. But there's a few things that we do. And the first thing is we look after each other as a team. We try nurture the team and just love each other in the team to make sure we watch out for each other. But also emotional regulation is quite important. Because if you feel anger, because like I am going through anger phase a little bit, because sometimes I feel like, just attacking this problem head on. So you need to, don't get stuck with emotion. You need to actually regulate it through. No, don't take your anger and be irresponsible with it. But, and even the sadness, I cry. I've always said to myself, I will not have compassion fatigue where you sort of numb yourself against what you see, to feel and go through that process. I think your mental health, and then self-knowledge, like you need to know yourself well when you start working with these type of things, because you need to know when are you triggering. I mean, I've got my own journey of emotional things that I had to overcome. When am I, Emma, when am I triggering when I see something? So then knowing those things. And then we do have a trauma psychologist that work with us as a team to make sure that we're regulating and a safe place. Yeah.
What I will say is that me being a part of this whole thing, like it made me realize so much that it actually can affect your mental being. Because I feel like it put me in a very dark place where I felt so bad and I felt so helpless. And that's why I took initiatives to reach out to you, because I felt like, okay, I did what I did, but what am I going to do next to make things right? I don't like, if there's a problem and I'm a part of it, like I want to also be a part of the solution, because I'm the reason why we're here. So that's why I ended up texting you and telling you about my plans with donating all the money I've made from the campaign to the organization, because I honestly felt like I wanted to help as well. Help save girls who might also be that side.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just approach. It's not locking it up inside, because otherwise you're going to somewhere explode. But actually, how do we change that negativity into actually
something positive?
Yeah, the energy to fight something good.
So I will say you guys did help me a lot. Like I learned so much from this experience. Yeah. And I feel like I'm going to take your advice mentally, because it took a toll on me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a rough environment.
Very. I can't even imagine having to see those things, because with me it's just I'm dealing with it behind the scenes. Like you guys have to go there and help them out and check up on them after, and it's probably a lot because they're also emotional, because of they've been suffering, some for years, some months, and obviously it's a lot on them, and you guys also see that side from their side, that they've been going through it. It's a very tough case.
Yeah, props to you, Mama.
Yeah.
Props to you for doing that. I'm really proud. You really much set a standard, and you showed people that you genuinely want what's best for everyone in South Africa, and I genuinely appreciate that from you. And thank you so much as well, Emma, for coming here and just, taking your time as well with you, Mr. Donaldson. Man, on this topic in general, I wanted us to quickly just dive into unemployment, because I know that's kind of like
everything
a
stems from it. Even with influencers, we were trying to get a bag and then we got trapped. They were trying to get a bag and they got trapped. So I feel like you're right. Unemployment in South Africa is actually a very serious concern.
Yes, so I think given the high levels of unemployment, so people are actually quite desperate for jobs. So anything comes their way, they can take it. So it's very important for people to actually do their research when it comes to jobs, specifically the ones you find online. So yeah, people are actually more vulnerable to being trafficked due to the unemployment rate. I think also the pressure from friends, people
social
feel
media as
left
well.
behind. They all want to leave. Everyone just want to leave and go somewhere. They will figure it out. So it's quite dangerous. So people need to actually do research on job offers they get online.
Guys, yeah, you heard that. Please do your research. If you see something online on TikTok, just take time and research because, it's not safe anymore.
I think also for influencers as well.
Oh,
They need
yes.
to
Same.
do their
Also, it's their
background
job.
checks.
So when you have a job, guys, all the content creators,
Before you
do
promote
your
anything.
research further. If you find something suspicious, just leave it. It's not worth it.
Always trust your gut.
Yeah. Your intuition, trust it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I always ask myself, like, how do these criminals operate? How do these traffickers?
Exactly.
What is that?
What's on their mind?
How are they going? And I think it's important to understand this. They're also trying to hustle because we've seen a lot of traffickers that are actually international now. It used to be South Africans and also being involved in criminality, but a lot of them are coming from different African countries and abroad. And they are all hustling and making plans. But once again, we need to understand it's organized crime. They are very well organized. They are very well structured, these criminals. And their aim is to make money by exploiting human beings. That's what they do. They want to make money out of people, and they're using vulnerabilities. And I cannot emphasize this more because we've seen these traffickers actually exploiting young girls, underage girls online on Instagram, luring them out to send sexual content, and then they sell those content, and then they even extort the girls by saying, "I've got these images of you." So we talk about sexual, extorting these girls sexually, and they're minors, they're underage, even as young as 12. So we've seen these girls, being extorted, and these criminals are just trying to take advantage to make money. And breaking down a human being and exploiting a human being.
I've
for their
had
own
something
profit.
like that happen to me actually, like last month or a month before. I got an email. It was like a campaign. It said it's Vaseline, but obviously I know now that it was fake. They said they're going to pay me, I think, 100K, but then they said they're going to send all the details on Google Photos. And I don't even know how it works. So I downloaded it. And then after that, when I looked at the app, then the guy was like, you need to sync your photos to something like that. And I was like, sync? I was like, no, this is off. But I was like, okay, let me do it. But before I did it, I looked at my pictures and then I archived like other pictures, like weird pictures, like maybe my hair is a mess or something. And then I synced my pictures. After syncing my pictures, it clicked in and I was like, no. Why are we using Google Photos to transfer like the script? Like it doesn't make sense. And then I went back, deleted everything. I even deleted my email so they can't even access it. I panicked and I was so scared. And I understand now because then when it happened, I was like, why would someone do this? Like, why would you want to do this? But now I know that it's like a scam. So guys, be aware as well. Be careful. Like also content creators, be careful because it happened to me as a content creator. I just kept quiet because I was scared. But I managed to get myself out of a situation. But it's very scary knowing that it's something that really does happen.
Yeah, and they're targeting children. That's the scary part. So we obviously work with the schools as well, trying for the young girls that are, even the teenage girls, to make sure that you are safe online. It is so crucial because these traffickers, they do a grooming process. So what does that mean? They actually build trust with you online. So they pretend to be, if she's 14, they pretend to be a 15-year-old handsome boy. And they chat. And so if the girl is if she's alone and she's looking for a boyfriend or she's getting even attention and sometimes the sexual attention and they actually, and these girls start feeling so much shame. So they don't go to their parents. They don't go to an older person to help them. And then they sit with so much shame. And so we're currently involved with quite a few programs on teenagers to stay safe online.
What steps do you think individuals can take to raise awareness in their communities?
Yeah, it's your answer. I can
Yes,
say lots.
I mean, we do a lot of prevention talks at schools, primary schools, high schools, as well as universities, you know. But like the most important thing is to sharing information with people close to you. So if you are aware of human trafficking, you know what it is, you can see the dangers or the vulnerable groups, you know. So it's important that people actually share and enlighten other people. But yeah, we do a lot of prevention works in school so that students are aware how to be safe online. We also look at cyber crimes that, you know, you can be a victim of. For example, that Google, you know, was trying to actually take over your account and, you know, so we try to reach out to the communities as well.
Yeah, and I think the Department of Social Development, DSD, actually got quite a few programs that they're focusing on. They're currently focusing on child online exploitation because South Africa is at risk on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, those platforms where kids are exploited. So that's firstly is to educate our communities on how does it look like, how do you identify it. So that's important. So firstly, you need to, you know, get information on what it looks like. How do you identify? Because I think 9 out of 10 victims are not identified when it comes to trafficking. So the child or even the girl might be there and no one's realizing, listen, she's in slavery. She might have freedom of movement, but she's controlled. Someone is taking a passport, someone is saying, I'll buy you airtime if you give me, you know, do this for me. Or, you know, the blesser culture that we're looking at, that's a form of control, specifically when we look at young girls, that her parents are telling her or a mother is telling her, listen, you got to be with this older guy. She's a child. She's 15 years old, which is statutory rape. But she's getting perfume. She's getting food. There's such poverty that she's getting food for the family. And where we look at child trafficking, where the parents are actually pumping out their daughters. So the prevention work is so important. And we've seen even in the communities, our social workers that go to the families many times, and the families don't even know. They don't understand what trafficking is. They don't understand that their child was trafficked. They thought she was just partying and on drugs. So that process needs to be handled very sensitively and to actually explain to the parents, listen, your daughter is a victim of human trafficking. She's not a rebellious child or not she's a drug addict. It's because of the trafficking.
So how do you guys think we can address the root causes? Things like gender inequality, you know, poverty and all of that.
So when we look at the Human Traffic Act, we see it talks about vulnerabilities. What are the vulnerabilities to make someone, because anyone can become a victim of trafficking, no matter who you are, and doesn't even matter your age. But what are the vulnerabilities that these traffickers prey upon? So yes, definitely lack of education, because a lot of our girls dropped out of school when they were 15 or even 12. So the safe zone, I always talk about the safe zone. You have to have a safe zone of people that you know you can trust, that are for you and not there to exploit you or harm you. But lack of education, poverty, how do we overcome poverty? And, you know, there's many forms and even whistleblowing on, and when it comes to sexual exploitation in brothels and things like that, we always look at the demand. The demand, because there are sex buyers, the demand fuels up. So it's fueling up the market by saying, and then they start saying, listen, but I don't want just a normal girl. I want a 15-year-old. Or I want, so it's the demand of these sex buyers that needs to be held accountable. This is where children and young girls, last week or 2 weeks ago, we dealt with a case of a 10-year-old that was pimped out, sold to an older guy. You know, she's now 12, but it's reality. And this in South Africa yeah.
How do you guys work hand in? Obviously, you guys have to work with law enforcement and justice systems. How do you guys work together?
Yeah, that's a good question, because a very important one as well. So in South Africa, once again, the Human Traffic Act actually says DPCI Hawks are the custodians of human trafficking. So they are the ones that have to, if we suspect trafficking, they have to investigate it. Also, your sexual unit, FCS, as your under SAPS, they work with sexual exploitation, even of minors, and that's the family unit within law enforcement. So it's specialized units within the police that are on these cases, and that's fantastic. So when a girl comes to the local station is not always equipped for these things, and this is why I tell people to phone. If you don't get help at your local police station, phone the human traffic hotline, because they are directly connected to DPCI Hawks on trafficking. And then the NPA, we've got a good, our act on trafficking is good. We can improve that, but the NPA, our prosecutors are vital. We do have a little bit of a gap when it comes to our investigators. They need to investigate properly so that these traffickers actually end up behind bars. Because if they are proven traffickers, then they're not supposed to get bail. If this guy or lady trafficked someone, they shouldn't be on the streets, because our society should be protected from these criminals. So they're not supposed to get bail. The act actually says if it's trafficking and the prosecutor sees that, they're not supposed to get bail, and then you get the punishment for that is lifelong. So if it's really a form of human trafficking, then they shouldn't ever see the outside of a prison ever.
True.
So with what's trending right now, there's been a lot of there's a live video where the people who were kept in Russia are literally saying, "Oh, we safe. I don't know why you guys are, making up stories." And they live on a very public platform, and they're like
Showing their
rooms, and still encouraging more people to go to Russia. And for me, in that context, it's like, okay, now we're stuck in a mud.
Yeah.
It's like we don't know
if it's true.
And, those misconceptions, as I was saying prior, is that it's linked to those kind of myths, which we don't know as of yet. And it's kind of scary. And how would you then maybe keep people aware of such things?
So this is very important. Whether we look at Russia or any other country, not all of it is necessarily trafficking. The concern here is that because someone can go, but what are the high risks? And this is why I'm saying this. Because when it's a war conflict zone, and I mean, we work with the United Nations. We work with the United Nations on drugs and crimes, we've got a lot of a network. Brave to Love is a lot of network with other NGOs, even in the Ukraine, Russia, and these places that are fighting trafficking. But these conflict zones, like a war conflict zone like Russia and Ukraine, and even when we look at Israel, it's a high risk for trafficking. So what are the countries that are at high risk? And again, referring to the Global Initiatives report, that's where it actually started whistleblowing, and Durka started whistleblowing, saying, listen, and they can't publish all the information why they're whistleblowing, but they are giving a formal warning from South Africa saying it is not safe. So sure, if you are working in Russia, and I know I've spoken to friends of mine that have got networks within Russia, and they're saying that sure, there is a need for labor in Russia, but don't then advertise it for someone else because there is a possibility of them not being safe. And it's your responsibility, and you've got a responsibility to also to make sure that you are not the recruiter in this case. Because you are legally, you can be charged if you are recruiting someone into a possible traffic situation. You are liable to the crime.
I mean, there's still investigations still ongoing. Right. So right now we literally unsure.
Yeah, we'll just see. Because with everything that's happening, people are wondering if it is true that it is a part of the whole trafficking thing. But some people think it's deeper to it. I've seen some comments saying that it could be that the program is true, but then the working conditions and how they work and what they actually do could be what is wrong.
Yeah, and in this case, we're looking at investigating labor trafficking. So what is labor trafficking? It's forced labor where you are not getting paid enough. The working conditions are horrible. There's a form of control where there's and once again, we can't say this at this point from the different places where these people are working. The investigation should show the evidence, but these are the things that we're looking out for in labor trafficking. The same with the Myanmar Thailand case. It is a massive problem because people are still, or Cambodia and Laos as the other country. So it's bordering Thailand, all those countries bordering Thailand, and we know that you think, you are going to work in a country, and then the conditions, and I spoke to a victim yesterday again. They are working 7 days a week. He says to me, in the last 8 weeks, I haven't had a moment of rest. So a human being can't work that. So it's labor. They are controlling the passports. There's they use debt control, where if you do this wrong, then you owe the company this, you owe the company that, or you need to pay a ransom to get out of the condition. So that's all signs of labor trafficking cases. So it's not always you are locked up in a room and it's, kidnapped for ransom. It's not always like that. It's a very subtle process that people don't always realize that they are, even, how many victims I've met that didn't even realize that they are a victim of trafficking.
Yeah.
So that you might be in a condition that you don't, even in the scamming compounds, we see that these people don't always realize, listen, I'm a victim of trafficking, of labor trafficking.
I think there was an issue with the Mozambicans where, it was just happening under our nose, but we were not actually aware. So they would bring them in, and then they would go to townships, give them a trolley, and then they would walk the whole day selling like vegetables. Then I would ask myself, why would this guy walk such a long distance every day without fail, same street? And then now suddenly there's multiple of them in the townships, And then now it clicks that actually these people are promised jobs in South Africa. And then when they get here, the reality is different. They just make them walk the entire day, every day, without fail. So
I think you got to understand human trafficking first. There's 3 phases. There's a recruitment phase, and you need to prove all 3 to say this is trafficking, because it can be just abuse or labor laws not coming to the labor law. So it's not always human trafficking, but there's 3 phases. There's a recruitment phase, which is either through a boyfriend luring you over, or the lover boy, or like you say, with your recruitments, false jobs. Yes. The second phase is the transportation phase, which is coming from one country to another, or one province, or one little town. We've had ladies from Rosettenville to Cape Town, Milnerton. So it's different areas. It can even be in the same little town. But the third phase is the exploitation. What is the exploitation? And there's always there needs to be a financial gain or some sort of gain for the trafficker for exploiting someone. So those 3 all need to be proven to say, okay, this is really trafficking.
What is the most difficult decision you've ever had to make in like a trafficking case?
Yeah, that's a difficult question to ask. It gets me emotional. I'll cry now. I think for me the most difficult, not necessarily a decision, but is to find the younger girls in the brothel, is to to find her there. And a lot of times when I've met the teenage girls that were sex trafficked, they actually have Stockholm syndrome, which is called trauma bonding, meaning they are in love with their abuser. And for me, that has been difficult as a mother, because I just want to take her home and just mother her and tell her that I love her. And a teenage girl that's on drugs, she's not easy. And the most difficult thing for us is when these girls, because they addicts, she's 15 and she's addicted to crystal meth. She jumps out of the children's home. She's an adult in her mind because she's been raped so often since 12. She's been pimped out. So that has been very difficult for me. And I think each member of our team will have their own story. And then I think the most difficult thing for me is sometimes the girls, ending up in exploitation again, where the system has not helped them sufficiently, or there's not enough homes, shelters, programs, and they end up for the second or the third time in an exploitative situation. Like some of our girls, one of our girls trafficked 3 times, sold to and fro and just abused her. So it's just to break that cycle of abuse over their lives.
Well, I think for me, the decision to actually be involved in the fight against human trafficking, that's like one of the hardest decisions, because at first you don't really understand what it is, but as soon as you process it and the extent to which it is, and then you're like, wow, actually this is big, this is scary, but then you have to fight the fight. So yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm learning a lot, hey?
We are literally.
Everything is just sinking in my head, because now that you guys have been explaining everything, like I'm now being more aware of like different kinds of traffickings. Because in the beginning, I thought with the whole Russia thing, it could just be human trafficking. But then when you spoke about labor trafficking, I was like, oh, like there's a lot into it, a lot of context into it, a lot of tactics. These people are very smart, actually. Like, I wanted to also ask, like, is it really easy to catch like the bosses behind the human trafficking schemes?
So I know someone asked me the question once, is it, who are the traffickers? Is it just someone that is opportunistic? And those happen where a boyfriend, says, okay, we can't pay the bills. I want you to, I'm going to sell you to my friends. And I mean, that's directly starting to look at exploitation because now she's forced because I can't pay the bills or I don't get a job. Now I need to sell sex. And yeah, I think definitely, but we've seen it more and more in the entire Africa that these criminals are actually working together. And there are ways, there are strategies because it's not only, there's always with human trafficking, it's organized crime. So it's not only the sexual exploitation or the trafficking side, there's other crimes around it. There's kidnapping, there's rape, there's fraud, there's financial crimes.
So it's like the main.
Yeah, correct. And so there are powerful investigative tools to actually catch these guys because everyone has a footprint somewhere. Yeah, there are tools.
All right. But anyway, how are you guys personally? How was your week? How did, like,
I'm feeling it.
How was your week? I mean, what'd you get up to? Hobbies?
That's a good. That's nice to get from every topic into that.
Yeah, seriously. Do you have any hobbies?
No, in my life, there's no time to. The criminals don't sleep.
So you also don't sleep.
Criminals don't sleep. Yeah, but no, I don't know. What's your hobbies? Do you cook?
Hobbies? Well, yeah, I cook.
You're a cook. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
nice.
read books. I listen to a lot of music. Spend time with my siblings as well on weekends when I get the time. So
I have a hammock.
Yes.
I sleep in
What's
my
a
hammock.
hammock?
A hammock.
It's a bird?
No, a hammock
Oh,
is
shit.
on Mauritius. When you go to Mauritius, you've got you get the palm trees, you've got a hammock hanging. We'll need to get you a hammock.
My bad. It sounds like an animal. Like,
So at least there's 2 trees and a hammock. So then I look at the birds. We do a lot. I have a lot of what do you call it? Emotional support animals. So cats and dogs, and we walk the dogs, and we have fun. So and music, and I actually play music. I play violin and piano and ukulele, and so yeah. For the hobbies, that's what we do. But this week, there was no time for hobbies.
yeah. No time to just relax.
South Africa is going crazy. So
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Any recipe you don't like to share?
Some Ethiopian dish.
Some Ethiopian dish. Well, I can teach you how to farm, how to grow your own vegetables. So that's actually one of my passions and
I actually want
hobbies
to also
that
I want to get a farm, somewhere in
actually
Botswana.
also quite therapeutic,
Yeah.
if you're actually dealing with human trafficking cases.
yeah.
And so I think the garden is a good space to actually,
mind.
Yeah, I've been doing that as well.
Yeah.
It's spring. I've been planting a lot of flowers to see the beauty of life. I think you got to celebrate the beauty of life because we see a lot of sadness. So yeah.
And I have one last question, right? Not really a question, but it's more like, what would you advise like young teenagers out there on how to navigate themselves as like women and also as boys?
Yeah. So let me. You can answer the boy one.
Yeah.
So because
yes.
Yeah.
So what I tell a lot of girls, and when I work with victims specifically, I tell them, girl, you got to have 2 jobs. Don't be dependent on anyone to pay your salary. Buy your own car.
Thank you.
Buy your own
You
car.
heard that.
And don't hustle to make money. Do it honorable. So meaning study, educate yourself, work hard. I think it's when the girls are quite like saying, no, I want the fancy clothes. I want this and I want, but as a mother and as I tell my girls, like you got to have a good job, but then also have a side thing to do. to make sure that you become economically independent and not reliable, because then you're not going to become a victim of trafficking, even the young girls. So yeah, be a smart girl. Don't be stupid. Yeah.
Guys, be smart.
Study.
Yeah. Study.
Stay in school.
Yeah, stay in school. Find good friends.
Be a
Don't let your
YouTuber.
friends influence you. Don't date bad guys.
Well, I think for the boys as well, education is very important. So they should just focus on skilling themselves, you know, so that they can find like an honorable way to earn income, because especially in the townships, it's very easy for guys to suddenly go into criminal activities because there is no jobs, there is, you know, so he starts as a small,
Then accumulate.
you know, and then he starts robbing, you know, people from cell phones, and then it moves to other things. So I think education and skilling themselves should be like the main focus.
Speaking of boys, how often do boys get trafficked? And if so, how does it happen?
I mean, for boys, you've seen with labor trafficking a lot. I think with the Myanmar case, there's a lot of boys as well. So boy or girl, anyone can be a victim. With the Ethiopians, we see how they are being smuggled into the country. So for labor trafficking, boys are also at risk. I mean, with the Mozambican, it was also boys. You know, with Myanmar, you know, we also have boy victims. So
Yeah, and I think so. Like, men and boys are mostly labor trafficking, but we cannot exclude them from sex trafficking. We actually have seen lady boys. We've seen sometimes homosexual guys being trafficked in the sex trade, and we've seen even in Zimbabwe where young boys have been used in brothels. And a very key thing is this online exploitation. There's actually a lot of boys that are exploited on online platforms with their images to be sent out. And I've even dealt with a boy that was trafficked by an older lady. So these cases are still there. And but like Donaldson's saying, labor trafficking is definitely a form. And trafficking into criminality. When the young boys into gangsterism, they are recruited to sell drugs, and they are forced actually, because a child cannot give consent to that.
Yes.
They are forced because they're scared of getting in trouble, and then they get recruited into gangs.
Yeah. All right, let's just play a young game before we close the show. We're going to play 5 facts about you.
5, that's a lot.
Okay, that's a lot. Whoa, let's break it down. Let's break it down to
Okay.
2 facts about you that nobody knows, if you want. If you don't want to confess anything, it's okay.
Is it a confession or a fact?
Okay, let's say facts. Yeah.
Okay.
2 facts about you, and then we can obviously close the show. So I can start. A fact about me is that I don't know if it's a positive fact, but I'm very much naive. Yeah, that's a fact. Another thing would be I am very much radiant in what I do. That's a fact. That's a fact. Radiates. My energy just radiates to anything. And I feel like, I'm just that person. You know? Yeah.
A fact about me that nobody knows.
You're stupid. I'm joking. You're very smart.
Smart girls.
Be smart. Be smart.
I would say for me is that I'm overly emotional, and people don't know. It's something I hide because people are terrible. Another.
I think 1 is also fine.
1 is fine.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
If you don't have any other.
I'm just a fun person. That's the other one.
Plug it.
Okay, your turn, my turn first, right? Yeah. Okay, so the fact is that I can actually skateboard. I'm a little bit old now, but I used to skateboard. So, a long time. It's been a long journey and emotional one. I actually look very tough, but my heart is soft, and so and that sometimes sinks me as well. But
Me, wow. Let me see. So I tend to get caught up in my own thoughts. You know, I'll be like, I'm supposed to be doing something. You know, I'm getting to the house. I'm supposed to, prepare this, and then something just preoccupies my mind, and then suddenly I'm like,
can't be wasted by ADHD.
Then I just get caught up in the thought. I'm like, wow, you know, and then, oh, damn, I was supposed to wash the dishes, and here I am thinking. So yeah, I tend to quite think a lot about stuff, and that takes time. So I have a thinking chair where, like, I sit there and I think.
Me, one fact about me is that I ask questions. I don't just go along with something just because they said this is how it's done. I like to ask questions, a lot of questions, you know. So yeah.
So we can use you as an investigative journalist. We need those.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. Lucy, you can close it for us.
Oh yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. We have learned a lot, right, Venus?
We did.
Right,
Guys, I hope
Lucy?
you guys learned.
Yeah, I hope you guys learned. And yeah, thank you guys so much. It was lovely having you guys. Yeah.
Guys, please do donate to Brave to Love Foundation. They are saving lives. So your efforts would be very much considered and not gone unnoticed.
Also, do you guys allow people to volunteer?
Yeah, come volunteer with us. Definitely, Donaldson will help you.
Yes.
And follow us on TikTok,
Follow.
Instagram,
Follow.
Facebook.
Follow.
Brave to Love Foundation.
Yeah, Brave to Love official, or you'll find us.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you guys heard that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to like,
Don't
subscribe,
forget
comment,
Yes.
share.
Yes. Oh, that's it, ne?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Bye. Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Bye.